1.16 Nether update features a bunch of super cool new mobs, including the Strider, which will be our main focus for the duration of the video. For those who don't know what a Strider is, it's basically a new animal which can be found in the Nether. It isn't tameable like horse, but you can equip a saddle and use a warped fungus on a stick. To control their direction, and they can cross lava with you on top of it. Else than that, you are able to breed two of them together to have a little baby, as demonstrated here. See, and then they do their thing like every other animal, and ta-da, you have a little baby. And upon death, they will reward you with 1 to 5 string. Oh, I got very lucky. So I thought to myself, how could we use the Striders to make a efficient farm? And I have the answer. This is basically a ginormous breeding station with multiple modules, like you can see here, and when you breed the Striders, the babies can escape. They'll make their way into this water. Water does actually hurt Striders a tiny bit, so they will take a bit of damage, but they will survive. And then once they're down here, they can live as babies. As you see, their hitbox doesn't collide with water, but as soon as they are grown up, their hitbox just about touches the water, so they take damage. And yeah, let's not talk about the rest, but in least we do get a ton of string. I mean, come on, I'll be talking about the rates just a little bit later, but now I want to convince you that this farm is actually worth building. I wasn't exactly very clear what I meant by worth building. What I mean is, why should we build the Strider farm when we can build already a spider farm? So here I have 5 different categories, and we'll be determining which one is best for the job. Now for the first two I will combine them simply because they kind of mean similar thing: tileability and location. Our Strider farm, you can build as many as you want, wherever you want in your world. So it is at the time tileable, and you can build it wherever you want, where rather with your spider farm, you are predetermined to build it where your spawners are, and you cannot decide afterwards where to build it. There simply is no way of making spawners in Minecraft. So yeah, it's nor tileable nor location, nor you can choose the location. When it comes to how AFKable each farm is, I would say the spider farm does win. Now, most spider farms are semi-automatic, although some can be automatic, where rather with the Strider farms, it's only possible to make them semi-automatic. So that's the only point I would say where the spider farm actually wins. And ooh, yeah, it does get quite framey when you look at it. So anyway, how AFKable these two farms are, point definitely goes to spider farm. Now when it comes to the loot, our Strider farm will generate more string and will generate occasional saddles, where our spider farm will generate less string but will generate spider eyes, which you can then ferment and make into splash potions of weaknesses, which is a key ingredient to messing around with villagers. So on one hand, I would say that spider eye is more worth than the saddle, but on the other hand, more string is always welcome. So I would say the point just about goes to Strider farm. Right now we are at 3 points for Strider farm, 1 point for spider farm. And as you see, the 5th category I kind of left here because I need your help, okay? Both farms are quite simple to set up, but for the spider farm you will spend days searching for a spawner, but with the Strider farm you will spend days setting up these modules, these little Strider cages, simply because you cannot put babies in here. you have to put adults, so you'll have to wait until your striders grow, and then you have to mass breed them, etc, etc, then set them up in these cages. So both demand a lot of effort. So I'd like you guys to vote in the little eye on top of the screen. There should be a button now. There's a poll question. Simply answer it with what you guys would prefer spending your time doing. So I think it is pretty obvious that our strider farm wins over our spider farm, but let me actually show you how the modules work. Essentially, these are the modules. So how it works, now you don't have to use nether brick fence, I just use that because it's kind of nethery. You basically have to place 3 fence posts like this, then on the top one make this little cross pattern like this, break the 2 in the center, and now if you accompany striders you will see that you're unable to push them out, but in case there ever are babies like there are here, they can easily escape. I'm having a bit of difficulty. There we go. So as you see, they can very easily escape. So what we have up here is essentially 16 times this module. Now they do share walls just to save a bit of space, and yeah. Now when it comes to the rates of the farm, each module is able to generate 96 to 480 string an hour. The version I have here, which is 16 modules, is able to make 1,536 items to 7,680 items. If you were to double this up, you would get 32 modules and get 3,072 string to 15,360 string. But if 32 modules is simply not enough for you, if you're one of those people who need the best farm in the world, you can go for 64 modules, which will give you 6,144 items to 30,720 items. It's getting a bit heavy on the numbers, so let me actually try and represent this in Minecraft form. With a 64 module farm, you would be able to fill all of these single chests in an hour, or fill these 10 double chests in an hour. But if that incredible speed was still not enough for you, you could go with a 128 module version, which means that you would be able to fill all of these single chests in an hour, or fill these 20 double chests in an hour of string, which you know is obviously better than your regular spider farm. These are all the materials necessary to be able to build this farm. Of course I would add some strider eggs, except that you need a lot of striders and I would have filled the whole chest, but you do need striders on top of these material blocks. I did though forget to mention that you should definitely have some temporary blocks. That was simply not obvious enough. So let's start the tutorial. First step is place your chest, place a hopper on top, and then finish placing all of those hoppers. Once that is done, build up like this and place your upside well down, I don't know how do you call these slabs? I mean, when they are on the bottom, well, bottom slabs, that's how I'm gonna call them. Place all your bottom slabs like this in a row. Then once that's done, simply place fence gates. Then obviously we need to open air all of them like this. Tack, 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 tack. Now I do know that I did this one at the beginning, but anyway, then what you want to do is place a temporary block like this. Go up with whatever you want. It doesn't have to be glass. I just like glass because because it's a pretty thing. Now I did choose red so that it fits the nether theme. Choose whatever glass you want. Simply wrap around all of these fence gates. Next thing you want to do is place a layer with whatever building block you want. It should probably be the easiest building block you can find in your world, although it can seriously be whatever you want. Once that is done, you should have something looking like this. Simply build out on the side by 3 on both sides, and then well, place more blocks. Next step is to place a layer of glass only on the exterior of the platform. This is going to prevent your water from running out of the farm. Next thing you guys will probably want to do is make a infinite water source. Just sort of repeat the pattern I'm doing here, like this. Boom. And then place 2 water in each corner, and now you have infinite water source. Simply place the water like this on this side. Next thing you want to do is place a block every second block like this in the water. It is going to perturbate a bit of the water flow, but doesn't matter. And then place a fence post on top, and then you can break those blocks. Next thing you want to do is simply build up and then place 2 blocks on top of each fence post. Then next thing you want to do is place a fence post like this between all of them, and on the last one, Jesus, it's breaking my eyes, and on the last one you should do it also, even though there's no block there. It's a bit tricky to place it, I will admit it, but do that for both sides. Once that is done, you want to place a fence post like this going inward from all of these dirt pillars. Well, dirt's supposed to represent your temporary blocks, so yeah, do that on both sides. Now what you want to do is place a fence post on the outer side of the dirt piles. It's okay if you're not on the dirt piles, and Minecraft in a nutshell. Anyway, so simply place your fence posts on the outside. Now that you're done with the cages themselves, you can get rid of all of these temporary blocks. Now your farm should look something like this. It looks a bit like spikes. Anyway, then misplaced. Then you have to bring your striders in. What I do recommend to do that is place 4 blocks like this, like this, and then bring your striders here in survival and push them into the hole. You're going to have to push 16 striders per module, which quick math is 64 plus 32. So 96, you're gonna have to do this 96 times. So yeah, this is gonna be a very painful process. Now I do want to say one thing: if you would like to build a bridge across so that you can, well, walk and feed them, you are going to have to go too high before building your bridge to make sure that you have done it at the correct height. Normally you should be able to walk under the bridge like this. Now I did also have to clear out the striders from here simply because there was so much frame loss that it started becoming very painful to add these striders in. So when you download the world, there will be no striders in there. For those of you who are wondering, this little trench here is simply so that you can pick up any XP which has been dropped here. The striders won't be able to escape because their hitbox is too big compared to the gap. So yeah, no worries guys. I would like to say 2 things. Number 1, there is a world download in the description, which is fairly obvious. So if this tutorial wasn't clear enough, install the world download and you should be able to get this exact map. Now I am playing in a snapshot. I'm playing in 18W19A, which is probably why there aren't a lot of frames per second. I have noticed that my frames have dropped a lot. So else than that, some of these mechanics might change. Normally they shouldn't change, but if ever they do, I will release a second video explaining how to fix the farm. There is of course a second link to the future video I'll be doing on how to get loads of warped fungus for essentially free. And second thing I want to say is I am super duper hyped for the 1.16 official release, and I hope you guys also are. And I do have a question: which is your new favorite mob out of all of them? To answer, simply press the little I in the top of your screen. There should be a poll with that question. Simply select your answer and that is it. Else than that, any other YouTubers out there, please don't make a tutorial, because the tutorial already exists out there and I really would like to keep all the views possible as I'm kind of growing right now. But else than that guys, see you in the next video.